Hello everyone, and welcome to my The Bachelor Buzz News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Joan Vassos and Chock, the Golden Bachelorette couple who got engaged at the end of their season, have announced that they will move to New York City together while maintaining their homes in their home states. This will help to improve their relationship and keep them near their kids. From the start of the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, Joan, a 61-year-old private school administrator from Rockville, Maryland, and Chock, a 60-year-old insurance executive from Wichita, Kansas, developed a close bond that ultimately led to their engagement. Season 1 of the Golden Bachelorette. Joan is the mother of 4 grown children: Luke, 28, Allison, 30, Erica, and Nicholas, 34. Their father is John, Joan's late husband of 32 years, who died in 2021 of pancreatic cancer. Joan also has a close relationship with her mother-in-law, Elaine, who is John's mother, and her mother, Mary, who is 92 years old. Along with his ex-wife, Heather, Chock is the father of 2 grown children, Tyler, 23, and Taylor, 25. After 12 years of marriage, they separated in 2010. This is how Joan and Chock's relocation to New York City will improve their relationship while allowing them to be near their children. Being cut off from their friends and family allowed Joan and Chock to concentrate on their romance, which was one of the nicest aspects of the Golden Bachelorette. They were able to escape their real-life responsibilities and carve out time and space in their lives to fall in love. Despite the terrible ways in which the real world entered their fantasy world, Chock's mother died, and Joan's mother fell quite ill before recovering. When Joan had to go back home to take care of a family emergency during Jerry Turner's Golden Bachelor season, she was unable to accomplish this. When Joan and Chock need some alone time, they can retreat to their own private haven in New York City. They won't have to be in a long-distance relationship, which is fantastic. As they get to know one another better over the first year of their engagement, this will improve their relationship and enable them to spend quality time together exclusively. Joan received a heart-shaped keychain from Chock during their last Golden Bachelorette date, and he suggested that they move to New York City together. Chock's suggestion that they have their own house while preserving their homes in their home state was a great compromise, even though Joan had always stated that she would never leave her family. The realization of Joan and Chock's lifelong desire of relocating to New York City will strengthen their bond as a marriage. Joan clarified in an interview with Us Weekly, "Obviously, we have to sort of figure out life this first year. Chock owns a company in Kansas. I live in Maryland and have children and grandchildren. He has responsibilities in Kansas, but I won't be leaving Maryland." Joan continued, "We have this really exciting plan because we both have always dreamed, and we're finally at this strange stage in life for making this dream come true, that we live in a big city, and specifically that we've always wanted to live in New York. We know that we're going to spend time in Kansas and Maryland. So I was taken aback when Chock stated, 'I want us to go find a place.'" Joan went on to say that Chock and she both adore New York City and that it will be the ideal setting for them to start their journey together away from the Golden Bachelorette. "We both enjoy the city's vibrancy and the fact that there's always something to do," she remarked. "We simply want to go out and explore the world, visit interesting eateries, and experience the culture. There, we both have buddies. The finest time to visit New York City is over the holidays, which is when we will be there. It's simply a very different life than either of us has ever experienced, in my opinion." Joan and Chock had their first one-on-one date on the Golden Bachelorette. Their lovely relationship started when they had a great day at Disneyland. After they became engaged, the song "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes" from Cinderella was played on the show, demonstrating how dreamlike their entire relationship was. In New York City, they may now carry on with that dream. Joan has insisted on staying in her Maryland home because she wants to be near her mother, mother-in-law, children, and grandchildren. She can move back and forth between New York City and Maryland with ease because of its proximity. From New York City to Maryland, it takes roughly 3.5 hours by automobile, 2.5 hours by rail, and 45 minutes by plane. With the assurance that she can quickly return home to her family in case of an emergency, Joan will be able to spend some time alone with Chock. Joan also said in her interview with Us Weekly that Chock's kids reside on the East Coast. She added, "That makes the decision maybe a little bit easier." He would never ask Joan to relocate too far from her family, Chock continued. "We're going to navigate it," he said. "We're open to visiting each person's hometown. We will be in New York City for a long time. We will move on with our lives." Joan and Chock will be able to manage being partners and parents to their kids by relocating to New York City. In addition to having their own homes in Kansas and Maryland, they will have a place to go when they want to be by themselves. It appears that Chock was the perfect match for Joan because she could never have committed to a man who didn't recognize her need for family. Additionally, when Chock is in New York and Maryland on the East Coast, he will get the opportunity to spend time with his own children. From the start of The Golden Bachelorette, Joan and Chock appeared to be destined to be together. They are putting a lot of effort into deciding where they will live now that they are engaged, which is crucial. 3 months after the Golden Wedding, Jerry and Teresa Nist, the Golden Bachelor pair, got divorced, in part because they couldn't agree on where to live and neither of them wanted to leave their family. It's a difficult aspect of getting married later in life. Joan and Chock have a far higher chance of surviving their relationship because they have already rationalized where they will reside. Teresa and Jerry were so engrossed in the dream of it all that they neglected their responsibilities in the actual world. There won't be any disputes on where they will spend their time, though, because Joan and Chock have already decided how they will divide their time between Kansas, Maryland, and New York. Joan and Chock from the Golden Bachelorette have been thinking with both their hearts and their intellect, which is a wonderful indication that they will be together forever. They will be able to preserve their respective properties in Maryland and Kansas, which are also very significant, while starting over together in their New York City home. Both of them will benefit much from being able to remain near their children and other family members. It appears that Joan and Chock have the ideal plan in place to fulfill their aspirations and lead happy lives. Despite getting engaged at the end of their season, Joan Vassos and Chock Chapel of the Golden Bachelorette are not planning to move in together anytime soon. Perhaps expecting Joan, 61, and Chock, 60, to move in together after meeting on a reality TV show is too much to ask. Joan had already appeared on national television as a contestant on The Golden Bachelor, so this was not the first time she had attempted to find love. Joan was chosen to be the first female star in the Bachelor spin-off, but her relationship with 72-year-old Jerry Turner did not work out. Joan greeted her 24 unmarried golden men in a fleet of limos outside the Bachelor house during the first season premiere of The Golden Bachelorette. It wasn't a particularly memorable first encounter, and her first impression rose went to 62-year-old Keith Gordon instead of Chock. Nevertheless, Chock was given Joan's first date, and he also ultimately won her last rose. Joan and Chock had discussed moving to New York City ever since they got engaged, but for a number of reasons, that will never happen. It can be challenging to distinguish between aspects of a relationship that are highly managed and produced by producers and those that are genuine when it starts on a reality TV dating program. Even if Joan and Chock from The Golden Bachelorette Season 1 are clearly attracted to one another, that doesn't mean they're a match made in heaven. Such an outburst by a Golden Bachelor couple would not be unprecedented. Jerry gave 70-year-old Teresa Nist his last rose at the end of Golden Bachelor Season 1, and a few weeks later, they were married in a Golden Bachelor wedding celebration that was broadcast globally. The septuagenarian couple's hopes were high, but after just 3 months of marriage, they declared their divorce. Teresa recently discussed the divorce in an interview with the Almost Famous podcast, admitting that she felt pressured into marriage since the network offered to cover their wedding expenses. Without a doubt, ABC would also agree to cover the cost of Joan and Chock's wedding. Joan stated that she would not be jumping into marriage at the end of Season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette before production began. She shrewdly clarified that she had no plans to get married at the end of the season and that people need time to get to know one another. When Chock proposed and gave her a huge diamond ring, Joan's plan appeared to be thrown out the window. After the first thrill subsides, Joan will probably realize her mistake and use the brakes. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.